as Rick Morton and Robert Gibson come out blazing with both guns loaded against the First Family's Bruise brothers. Man, they hit the ring. And the next thing they hit were the Bruise brothers. Dream Machine going after Rick. Robert helping his partner out is Jimmy Cornette hollering and screaming at the Bruise brothers. I think most of the fans know behind this particular match the fact that the Bruise brothers jumped referee Paul Morton, who is Ricky's father, put him in the hospital, and seemed to take great pride in it. Hart and the Bruise brothers felt like it was their prerogative to do it because they thought the referee cheated them. Well, obviously, they sustained a fine and were suspended. The Bruise brothers were. And the Rock and Roll Express begged Eddie Marlin, please, to let them have it. Keep the fine on them, but, brother, let them get back into the ring with it. Referee Jerry Calhoun in there as the Dream Machine's head has been split open. We're in the early part of a one-fall 60-minute time limit bout. As a matter of fact, a minute and a half in, and already the Rock and Roll Express have the Dream Machine busted open, bleeding. Jim Cornette, manager, in the corner with the Bruise brothers, wearing out a pair of shoes. Woo! Boy, they got the Dream really busted open. Robert Gibson takes over, and he rattles the Dream Machine. No question he's using fists, and he isn't even trying to pretend that he isn't using fists. He just wants some of them. Same way with Rick, whose dad's still in the hospital. Rick Morton takes a tag from Robert. And the Dream really being kicked around by the Rock and Roll Express. They've got him well away from the corner where Pork Chop Cash. 3 minutes in, and the Rock and Roll Express have not let up till yet. Southern Tag Team belts are at stake. Rick and Roberts are showing no indications that they're going to let up at all as they continue to work on the Dream Machine. Comes Stan Lane and Steve Kern. They're after Jim Cornette. Oh, look at this. Manager Jim Cornette being ripped over by the Stan and Steve. But at the same time, Pork Chop Cash with a chain on his hand really nailed Robert Gibson and now Rick Morton. Cornette. We can't keep our eye on all of it. Referee Jerry Calhoun has been hurt. Cornette, who was instrumental in the loss of a match by the Fabulous Ones. Now really having it poured over, and here comes Bobby Eaton, Coco Ware. I think they're going to try to get the Fabs out of there. Dutch Mantell. The match in the ring, the Bruise brothers. Here's Eddie Marlin and the Rock and Roll Express. The Dream bleeding profusely. Rick Morton going after him with a small package, but the referee's trying to find out about getting the stuff outside the ring cleared up. Count of one. That's all he got. Oh, boy, the Dream Machine really a mess where the Rock and Roll Express worked him over. Robert Gibson now getting back up. Once again, 1, 2. Count of 2 with Rick. Pork Chop Cash had that chain on his hand. Nailed Robert Gibson. Eddie Marlin and company, Coco and Dutch and everybody else trying their best to get the Fabs out of there, and they did. Cornette, I think, is still down on the floor. Meanwhile, Pork Chop Cash working on Rick Morton, going after those Southern belts that they lost in a previous match. Pork Chop slams Morton on the back of the neck. Well, they got the Fabs out of there. Cornette is still down on the concrete. A count, but not enough, and Pork Chop drops with another elbow. And again, Dream Machine, who's really hurting. Here comes Jimmy Hart. They're down to try to get Jimmy Cornette out of there. He was, I got to tell you, the Fabulous One were not trying to interfere with a match, only to get even with Cornette, who cost them an earlier match. They're carrying Cornette out of there, so the Bruise brothers will carry on without a manager. Rick Morton slammed by Pork Chop again. Good night. Woo! Robert way up in the air to make a tag, but he's not on the apron. It wouldn't do any good. Count of 1, and Rick kicks out of it. The distraction at ringside, I believe, while it certainly was not intentional by the Fabulous Ones, turned the tide as it gave Pork Chop Cash a chance to pull a chain out when the referee was trying to get the mess at ringside straightened up. Pork Chop started using that chain. And since that time, the Bruise brothers have had things going their way. Dream Machine still with blood all over him. Tags back out to Pork Chop. He was a little unsteady on his feet, and he made a tag back to Pork Chop. Chops with that big elbow puts Rick down on the mat. Coming up on the 9-minute mark. Oh, and Pork Chop dropping Ricky down as he pulled a slick maneuver to get out of the way, and he just dropped Rick straight down on that top rope. Morton in the center of the ring. I was going to say he will never make it to the corner. Ooh. Rick really being worked over by Pork Chop Cash. Morton slammed into the foot of the Dream Machine. And Dream is looking for anybody to get some revenge for what happened to him early in the bout. He is still a mess. Still not too steady on his feet as he staggers around the ring. But he is going after Rick Morton. There's a tag on Porkchop. And Porkchop blazing away on Rick Morton at the 10-minute mark. Dream snaps ahead of Rick Morton down over that top rope, and Porkchop follows it up. There's a kick out at the 2 count. Ricky saved it. Robert trying to root his partner in there to get over to the corner and tag out. But Rick unable to make it. Porkchop drops down hard on him again. Rick snaps back with a hard right hand. Dream Machine comes in. Here comes Robert Gibson in. Puts the chops down, but Ricky still couldn't get to the corner to tag Robert. Dream kicking away at Morton, and he's run back to the corner by the referee. Rick trying to dive in there and tag Robert, but Chops catches him right in midair. Southern Tag Team belts on the line. And they're a little wobbly as Rick Morton has taken quite a pounding. Porkchop makes the tag on the Dream, and Ricky does not on Robert. Still too far away. Backdrop. Tag again on Porkchop. And the Dream, who took an early beating from both of the Rock and Roll Express. Wow! Chops comes sailing off that second rope. And just barely got the right shoulder up, did Rick Morton. Robert was down and tagging range, but he wasn't in the corner. Rick trying to drive backward over to the corner where he can tag Robert. Chop stops him again. Gibson put down on the floor and comes rolling back up to give the referee some trouble. And while that was happening, the Dream Machine drops down hard on Rick Morton. Coming up on the 14-minute mark in this Southern Tag bout. Dream Machine takes over from Porkchop Cash. And Ricky putting the Dream Machine down, try to follow it with an elbow, and he missed. The Dream just missed, and Chops comes back in to get Rick Morton. comes Jimmy Hart back out at the ringside. He had come out early with some of the first family to get Cornette out. There's a 15-minute mark with 45 to go. Southern Tag title. Hart pitches a chain in. Dream Machine nails Rick Morton, and we may have new champions. We do. There's the 3 count, and Rick Morton succumbs to the 3 count after being nailed with a chain thrown in by Jimmy Hart. The winners and the new Southern Tag champions regaining the titles, the Bruise Brothers.
AWA Southern Tag Team titles on the line here as Rick Morton and Robert Gibson, the Rock and Roll Express, trying to take them away from the Bruise Brothers. Dream Machine in there now for the Bruise Brothers. He hits the mat. Rick Morton off the ropes. Dream Machine grabs the arm, takes him down to the mat. Pork Chop Cash, the other Bruise brother, over in the corner. And down on the floor in their corner, manager Jimmy Hart, president of the First Family. Dream Machine, Rick Morton, kind of stalking each other. Rick Morton with Dream Machine back on the ropes. A whip across the way. Oh, Dream Machine hangs onto the ropes. And Rick Morton misses the drop kick. Dave Brown here at ringside with Randy Hales. Lance Russell taking the day off. He'll be back with us next week. Robert Gibson in for the Rock and Roll Express. Dream Machine still there for the Bruise Brothers. Gibson, Morton, quite a team since they formed the Rock and Roll Express just a few months ago. Robert Gibson using the ropes. Oh, Dream Machine sets up. And Robert Gibson missed. He goes down to the mat. Dream Machine has made the tag. Pork Chop Cash misses. Robert Gibson back to the corner. The tag on Rick Morton. Rick Morton takes over against Pork Chop Cash. The cover by Rick Morton. Only a count of 1. Can't hold him. Jimmy Hart has said Rock and Roll Express not ready for a title match. He said they're just a couple of kids. I think the Bruise Brothers finding out they got them some competition here as the Bruise Brothers try to hang on to the AWA Southern Tag Team belts. Pork Chop Cash off the ropes, but off the ropes with the upper arm. He drops But Rick Morton is gone. And Pork Chop Cash hits the mat. Three minutes, 15 seconds into the action. Oh, Robert Gibson, after the tag, just kind of flips over the ropes and onto the leg of Pork Chop Cash. Now he makes another tag. Rick Morton back in. Now the Bruise brothers. Whoa. Robert Gibson, after a tag, drops on the leg of Pork Chop Cash once again. Cash was looking to the corner for aid from the Dream Machine. Dream Machine started in there, but it ended up costing as it gave Robert an opportunity to come over that top rope. Rock and Roll Express working on the left leg. A Pork Chop Cash of the Bruise brothers. Morton and Gibson in a battle for the belts. Pork Chop Cash on his feet. Rick Morton almost got him off his feet, but not quite. Pork Chop Cash puts him into the ropes. Rick Morton puts him down. Referee involved with the other Bruise brother over in the corner did not see the shoulders down till it was too late. Rick Morton has the shoulders of the Dream Machine down this time. Only a count of one. That's all he could get. Rick Morton goes to work on the left arm. Puts a twist on it, then bars the left arm of the Dream Machine. Morton stepped over, but he gets clotheslined by the Dream Machine. Bruise brothers make a tag. Pork Chop Cash back in for the Bruise brothers. Dropped on the top rope. Rick Morton in trouble. Pork Chop Cash calling for the Dream Machine's boot. Rick Morton. Backdrop. Dream Machine whips him into the ropes. Clotheslines him coming off of there again. Rick Morton really in trouble. Here comes Pork Chop Cash back in. Bruise brothers pretty much in control of the action the last couple of minutes. And we are 7 minutes into this one. Both wrestlers down, Rick Morton and Pork Chop Cash. Dream Machine fires Morton into the ropes. Morton with a boot. Drops down but misses his Dream Machine. Had already moved before Rick Morton could get to him with the elbow and the upper arm. Morton holding his arm. Dream Machine off the ropes, and Rick Morton moves. Dream Machine bounces off the canvas. Now he bounces off the canvas again as Rick Morton dumped him over the back. Rick Morton trying to get set but couldn't do it in time. Dream Machine hit him. Both of them went to the mat, but the Dream Machine able to get the tag on Pork Chop Cash. 8 minutes gone in this one. AWA Southern Tag titles at stake. Pork Chop Cash had the cover. Robert Gibson able to break it up, assisting his partner Rick Morton. Right fist to the throat. Rick Morton returns the fist. Now the Bruise brothers double team it in the corner again as the tag is made and the Dream Machine is back in. Reversal by Rick Morton, but the Dream Machine set. He used the knee. Rick Morton on the mat. Bruise brothers make the tag. Pork Chop Cash hit Rick Morton right in the side of the head with his knee. Rick Morton gets the tag. Robert Gibson going to work on both the Bruise brothers. He runs them together in the corner. Rick Morton body slam by Pork Chop Cash while Robert Gibson's working on the Dream Machine. Pork Chop up on the top rope. He dropped. He tried to get to Rick Morton. Could do it. 1, 2, 3. Brand new Southern Tag Team Champions, the Rock and Roll Express, Rick Morton, Robert Gibson. They've got the belts. New champions here as the Rock and Roll Express defeats the Bruise brothers. 9 minutes, 43 seconds the time. We'll be back. Brothers and Jimmy Hart have jumped referee Paul Morton. The match over. The Rock and Roll Express have won the Southern Tag titles, and now the Bruise brothers and Jimmy Hart really working on referee Paul Morton after the match is over. Pork Chop Cash up on the rope. Here comes the Rock and Roll Express in. They've got him. Now, the Bruise brothers and Hart get out. Referee Paul Morton left lying in the ring here. Rick Morton back in. Here's Robert Gibson.